Welcome to Destroy All Podcast presents Nintendo Roulette. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Dylan.
I'm Cade.
And the point of this show is to randomly select any of the hundreds of Nintendo Entertainment System or Nintendo Family Computer games and play it for half an hour, no matter how bad or Japanese it is. This time we selected S.C.A.T, Specialized Cybernetic
Attack Team.
Specialized Cybernetic Attack Team, known in Japan as Final Mission and known in Europe as Action in New York.
Yes.
So we randomly selected Final Mission first and started playing it and started swearing and then looked on the internet and found out there was an American version. This game is sort of like Contra had sex with Gradius and this is their baby. And that's kind of a good thing in a way. It plays like a scrolling shooter, but I mean it's not a platformer. You don't jump. You've got a jetpack and you're a little guy in cyborg armor flying around.
You have all the, familiar pieces of power-ups, different weapons, cursing like crazy when balls hit you and,
But there were some differences between Final Mission and S.C.A.T, besides the hilarious name change.
But, okay, so I guess, yes, somebody had to have known S.C.A.T, but why choose that acronym? That just seems...
They must have known.
I guess. Like scat play. I think that became a thing later.
Let's play S.C.A.T.
Let's play scat.
Can you imagine you're, in your 30s and your child comes home with a video game called S.C.A.T and is like, hey mom, I'm going to play S.C.A.T.
I remember Scatman.
Scatman Crothers.
Yeah. With his one hit, which was also known as I'm a Scatman.
But he was in movies. And good in movies. He's good in The Shining and Black Belt Jones and that other movie. Transformers.
Oh no, we're talking about a different Scatman then.
It's the same guy.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he does music and acting, or did. He's dead now.
I'm talking about the white dude with the mustache.
Oh, this isn't a white dude. This is a black dude.
No, we're talking about different people.
Okay, apparently I'm wrong. He did do music though. Scatman Crothers did.
I believe you. In Shining, he's What's Up Doc. He's the
groundskeeper.
Groundskeeper.
Yeah, but he was Ralph Bakshi. That Ralph Bakshi movie, Coonskin. Seriously, that's what it's called. Yeah.
All of this has everything to do with this NES game.
We're doing our typical wander off topic thing. Okay, we have a time limit here. Did you start the time?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a time limit here, so we actually have to talk about S.C.A.T.
Yes. Let's talk about some scat.
So you're in Japan. You are just a generic muscle man. Player 1 and Player 2 are identical. Player 2 is red. Player 1 is blue, and that is the only difference. Much like Contra, but unlike Contra, you're flying around. And you know how in Gradius or R-Type or any of those sort of shooters, if you crash into a wall, you die? That doesn't happen here. You just hit a wall. It does force scroll you, though.
Yeah, and I don't know. I instinct makes me not get caught in the back of the screen, but I'm assuming you die if you get caught between a rock and a hard place.
I'm assuming so, but I don't really know.
Yeah.
The other thing that is like Gradius is you have these little option pod things that follow you around. However, unlike Gradius, you don't get them from a power-up and they come back when you die immediately. But here's the weird thing between the Japanese version and the American version. In the Japanese one, these pod things are based on, like, if you push your guy to the right of the screen, the pod things, like, swing around over your head and then end up behind you.
They go backwards the way you go, yeah.
And if you go the other direction, if you go to the left side of the screen, those two pod things, one on the bottom and one on the top, will like slide over into front of you, which is a really unintuitive control scheme. It looks kind of neat, but it doesn't really work very well.
Yeah.
So they changed it for the American version where they're just constantly swinging back and forth between left and right until you hit you hold down one of the buttons. I think it was the A button.
Yeah, you just have you just press the thing and it stops. And so that's kind of like a fun new little aspect to the game, is finding like the right place to have the pods, so it like you can have it directly in front of you, so you have like a 3-shot thing going on. You can have it a little bit above and to the side, so you get more of a spread angle.
And obviously there's different stages where you might need it in different places. You have to move it around, be conscious of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the other thing too is your character can move in, the 8 directions, but your gun can only point diagonally if it's with the pods.
Right.
So you have to think about if you want to hit things diagonally or if you want to hit behind you or what you want to do. So that's kind of cool and makes way, 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 way more sense than the Japanese one. The other thing about the Japanese one is this is one of those games where the Japanese guys were like, oh, Americans, you're such babies, you can't handle hard games like we can because we love hard games. You know what? That's bullshit because the Japanese game is borderline unplayable.
Yeah.
Like, it is fucking impossible.
Yeah, 3 lives, and the bullets you shoot are really small, and the pods are swinging around uncontrollably.
Yeah. It just doesn't make sense, and it's not that it's too difficult, it's that the controls suck ass. And I understand if this is an arcade machine and your goal is to steal hundreds of quarters from children, okay, cool, you succeeded. But this is a Nintendo Entertainment System or, family computer. It is a home console. You paid your money. You're never going to pay more for it. They didn't have downloadable content in 1990. So, I mean, this is all the money you're ever going to get from the audience, so why make them hate you?
That's right.
So I do think that the NES version is a huge improvement. The other thing it does is it gives you a player 2 that is a different sprite. Player 1 is named literally Arnold. I'm not exaggerating. Yeah. It's Arnold. Player 2 is Sigourney. So you can pick between Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sigourney Weaver, which is pretty cool.
Kind of fun.
I like that. It's kind of like how in Contra you have you can play as Arnold Schwarzenegger or Sylvester Stallone, but they don't actually use the name in Contra.
Right.
The other difference between the Japanese version and the American one is the Japanese intro involves the complete destruction of New York City and then a giant metal tube between a space station and New York being erected.
I actually, I was watching those intros. It seemed to me like the only game intro that showed a city skyline that looked relatively like New York was the European action in New York. I mean, maybe I wasn't paying attention as much, but it didn't seem like the other intros had a specific city in mind.
Maybe it was Townsville.
Could have been Townsville. But the Japanese intro handed to the Japanese to show, like, disaster scenes.
Dude, they're the only country that has had cities destroyed by nuclear weapons. I figure they're the most well-qualified to destroy cities in their media.
I've actually heard about, I can't remember what it was now, but it was some Japanese version of something where they specifically didn't show an atom bomb go off. Oh, it was a Xbox, Fallout 3.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't have an atom bomb in this one city because of the atom bomb.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can see why they would want to be more careful about that, but it's okay when you're doing it in sci-fi because it is not literally atomic weapons. In fact, the cartoon Macross, Robotech, whatever, where they destroy most of the Earth with giant spaceships in outer space, lasers, they make sure to make it not actually nuclear weapons that they destroy the Earth with. They're just space weapons.
Goku destroys the world with a Kamehameha wave. It's not a nuclear weapon, it's a martial arts attack.
And in Akira, the city of Tokyo is destroyed multiple times, but by weird psychic powers and not nuclear weapons. So,
It's a difference, yeah.
Godzilla,
well, he's sort of a metaphor for nuclear weapons, but it's not
he actually
literally...
uses a nuclear attack, though, right?
Well, he's like a dinosaur that was affected by radiation, so he has like nuclear-ish powers, but he's not a bomb.
Right.
So,
Fair enough.
this is that you can talk about shit in sci-fi by using metaphor thing that you aren't supposed to talk about. So it's weird that a video game is like this, but I see why they changed it for the American release.
Yeah, the American intro and actually the European Action New York intro is very, very similar. We see a terrible animation of legs running.
The camera pointed, like, if you put a camera on the ground behind someone's feet on a skateboard and they were pulling it with their waist as they went, and they...
Yeah, like a GoPro.
Yeah,
Right.
it's GoPro skateboard back of your ankles.
Just like jogging edition.
Yeah. Like, why would you draw that? And also, they're badly drawn. The proportions are all fucked up.
Yeah. But what we did notice, though, Kate noticed, was the fact that the sound of the footsteps were definitely in time with the music.
Sounded like a click track, yeah.
Yeah.
Metronome feet. That's me, old metronome feet. But I did like that the armored soldiers in this are definitely wearing Japanese-style power armor, so even though they tried to Americanize it, it ends up feeling even more Japanese.
That's right.
So that's cool. I did think it was weird that the Action in New York version changed the character names from Arnold and Sigourney to...
Silverman.
Silverman.
Not Silverman. Not
Silver
not like
Spaceman.
Jonathan Silverman. It's not like a dude you called up on the phone, you met at, Temple. He is Silverman.
And
Sparks. Yeah.
Sparks. Sigourney Weaver has become Sparks.
That's isn't that like the name of a dog? Like, don't you name a dog Sparks?
Sparky.
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 Hey, Sparks, let's go down to the well and I'm gonna fall in it, and then you can do a terrible Lassie impression.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
We also watched the ending of the game, which was largely the same between the 3 editions, except that the Japanese one had more thorough explosions on the alien space station. Plus, we got to see the giant metal phallus between the space station and the city be destroyed as well.
Yes, we did. It was like the Japanese. This was actually funny that I was thinking about this. The Japanese gameplay is less flashy.
Also less fun.
Well, also less fun, but definitely as far as animation is concerned, in my opinion, a lot less flashy than the American and the European versions. However, the Japanese intro and ending, bright colors, great animation, really flashy compared to the other.
It's better.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I also like that in the American version, they have a stupid attempt at humor which falls completely flat. There's the thing where the hero, upon saving the day, is like, "What's that? My radio doesn't work. I can't hear you. I'll talk to you after my vacation." And then his boss is like, "Lol, the president wants to see you. Show up." And I'm like, "Really? Okay, game."
I'm going through a tunnel, boss. What? Penis.
I did think it was funny that the ending was very slightly different between the American and the European one. The American one has a couple of extra lines, and those extra lines pertain to explosions.
Yes.
Right.
We have confirmed the explosion.
So,
What's that big burst in the sky?
Yeah.
It's an explosion.
that
Can you confirm
confirmed?
that? I confirm?
10-4, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Second confirmation on it. Let's go.
We are sure that there's shit exploding. But, trust American editions to be sure about explosions.
Totally.
Did you explode?
I think I did.
I did.
Did you explode on time?
I think so. Our explosions are thorough and punctual. That's why our best national holiday is Independence Day, where we explode everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
One thing I like about this game of the power-ups, I like that in most kind of games similar to this with the Contra and Gradius and so forth and so on. I really enjoyed the wave.
Yeah, the W.
The W.
I like the laser one, which was really narrow but killed things way faster. But the wave is easier to hit things with.
Yes. And
Especially because some of the enemies moved around pretty fast, so it was pretty useful.
Yeah. And this is a very different style of shooter than you have nowadays, where you have the bullet hell thing where there's a tiny path through a wave of bullets you have to navigate carefully. It's not like that. It seems like the enemy movements are a little more randomized. They don't seem to be doing the same thing every time you go through the level, so you can't really memorize it.
Right, but the enemies, the specific enemies did do a similar thing. There was the small ones that kind of ran towards you. There was the laser beams on the side. There was the little kind of alien-looking things that shot those round red.
Yeah, it looks
And
like
then they
Mausers.
would jump up, and you had to get behind them because they could only shoot forward.
Metal frogs.
Yeah. But I don't think
Dude, that is the best name for a band ever. Metal Frogs.
We are Metal Frog Ribbit. But I do think that the bad guys are not programmed on paths. I think they're programmed with simple routines, and it's based on where you are relative to them.
Right.
So I kind of actually prefer that to modern games where everything is pathed and you have a tiny, narrow passageway that you have to know where it is.
Yeah.
So.
Well, if you want to play this game, it's been released on the Wii Virtual Console for North America and for PAL versions.
Yeah,
That's what we see.
You can go play Action in New York if you live in London, but you can play S.C.A.T if you live in New York.
Yeah.
For some reason. I'm surprised they didn't call it Action in London or Frankfurt or something.
Yeah.
Seems like a strange decision.
S.C.A.T in New York.
Anyway, we do recommend scatting, but only in the context of this Nintendo game. And don't play Final Mission, because even though the intro and outro thing look better, it's basically shit. They made the game unplayable,
If for some reason you hate yourself, just totally despise the person that you've become, and you feel like you need to pay some type of penance for it, then by all means, play Final Mission.
Yeah, otherwise, you could play SCAT and actually have some fun, or you could play Action in New York and have slightly less fun just because you're not playing as Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sigourney Weaver. By the way, Hollywood, make that movie. It's not too late.
It's not too late.
It's not
really
too late. Write up Arnold some more, give Sigourney Weaver a huge, huge gun, let her tape a flamethrower to it, and I think we have a winner. Destroy All Podcasts out.
Destroy them. The Earth is counting on you. Good luck.